would have been no need to take them from the other continent. So at last, I would like to say that let us remind ourselves of our duty to conserve and sustainably use the vast variety of life on Earth. Let us push for a more caring, thoughtful, and sustainable relationship with the nature. Thank you. So next is Ms. Vidyarthi.
Good afternoon, everyone present here. As you are here all together to celebrate the World Wildlife Week 2022, and I am Vidyarthi from the Department of Botany, is here to share my views on the World Wildlife Week 2022 on the theme the recovery key species for the ecosystem restoration. And I am starting with the line: the continued existence of wildlife and wilderness is important to the quality and the existence of the human. So this year, the World Wildlife Week aims at raising awareness of the endangered and critically endangered wildlife and highlighting the power of conservation efforts seeking to reverse their fate. The International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List of Threatened Species recorded over 8,400 species of wild fauna and flora as critically endangered. It recorded that close to 30,000 more are endangered or vulnerable. It is suggested that million species are threatened with extinction. So, the continued loss of species leads to degradation of habitats and ecosystem, and it leads to the threats to the humanity as a whole. So, the conservation of habitat for key species has a positive impact on the population for many others due to them, as the others are relying upon them and sharing the same habitat type necessary for the long-term survival as the key species is in question. So, the ecosystem restoration is the process of repairing sites in nature whose biological communities and ecosystems have been degraded or destroyed. In many ecosystems, humans have altered local native populations of plants and animals, introduced invasive species, converted natural communities to extractive use such as by agriculture or mining activities. Then there is the ecological restoration, focuses on repairing the damage human activities have caused to natural ecosystems and seeks to return them to an earlier state that is closely related to and unaltered by human activities. Ecological restoration is distinguished from the practice of conservation, which is primarily concerned with preventing further losses to ecosystems. There is one such example, that is the conservation of the forested habitats to benefit the dwindling Asian elephant population and the positive benefit this can have on the conservation of other species that are similarly rely on the forest for their survival. As the Asian elephants inhabit the dense forest areas across the India, Myanmar, Thailand and Sri Lanka, they are mostly roam in the family herds, feeding on grasses, twigs and leaves from more than 100 of species of plants, but their habitats are shrinking due to habitat loss and encroachment. Since 1959, African elephants have declined by over 50%. This means they are finding it harder and harder to get food and water to survive. By loss of their habitat, this means the elephants and the humans are coming into conflict as they are coming into our grasslands, and due to this they have poached. Then they also elephants are also under the poaching due to their tusk, and they have illegal trade. Elephants are also termed as the ecosystem engineers, with their activities helping to promote the growth of vegetation, essential to maintain healthy forest ecosystem, which increases carbon sequestration and help mitigate climate change. Many large trees depend on large vertebrates for seed dispersal and regeneration. And at last, I conclude, I believe all species are important in the web of life, from the smallest termite to the towering giants of the savanna, the giraffes and the elephants. If we pull at one thread in the web of life, we risk of nature unraveling. The loss of each individual species from big to small causes a cascade of damage across the ecosystem. Without healthy soils and fungal networks, trees cannot send nutrients to nurture each other through tough times. Without monkeys jumping from tree to tree, the fruit trees won't be distributed across the forest floor. If butterfly species disappears, this triggers a cascade of loss of specialized flowering plants,
closely linked to these butterflies also would not survive. So we have to save the key species and habitats have to be done. So at last, these are the lines by the Edgar O. Wilson. They once said, each species is a masterpiece, a creation assembled with extreme care and genius. Thank you.
Sad and ironic. Our planet's biodiversity is under threat. And who is the reason behind it? Paradoxically, the ones who are most dependent on it, being the human being. As per the World Wildlife Fund Index Report 2020, it has been stated that the current rate of biodiversity loss is around 100 to 1,000 times more than the natural rate of extinction. The major reasons being habitat loss, habitat fragmentation, climate change, pollution, etc. all being the not so appreciated gifts that the humans have given to nature. Being aware of the importance that the biodiversity holds, yet being the major reason for its accelerated loss, we have failed not only our planet, not only our ecosystem, but we have failed ourselves also. According to data from IFS and Red Data List, over 8,400 species of wild fauna and flora are critically endangered, while close to 30,000 are understood to be endangered or vulnerable. And going by the reports, around 1 million species are considered to be threatened for extinction. Looking at these facts, it is rather not surprising to say that scientists have already declared it as the 6th mass extinction. Since Industrial Revolution, the human ecological footprint has grown tremendously, and we have given nothing to nature and exploited it all. And the consequences of it, the ecological degradation we have faced, was visible in the recent COVID-19 pandemic. The humans have interfered with the wild, with the nature so much, and we're not living under the rocks, knowing the fact that such an irreparable damage the COVID-19 pandemic causes. And mind us, if we continue to degrade the ecosystem like this, we are approaching more such rather worse pandemics than we could ever face. Food webs worldwide are collapsing. Complex food webs are essential for the health of ecosystems. They provide them stability. They provide them resistance to face all the effects that could happen due to climate change, etc. However, due to dwindling biodiversity, ecosystems, their health have been deteriorated and they're not being able to mitigate the effects of climate change. Hence, there is an imperative need to conserve the biodiversity, to support the restoration of their habitats and ecosystems, and to promote sustainable use of the resources. Restoration of species richness and community structure over time implies increasing ecosystem stability that is much needed. The UN has even declared the decade from 2021 to 2030 as the decade of ecosystem restoration for preventing, halting and recovering ecological degradation. Tackling biodiversity is no doubt a global challenge, but all big stories begin with an individual effort, and this is what Sir told us. We need to develop compassion. Watching people protest for a planet certainly makes our ears go rise and we get filled with adrenaline. Yet we do nothing at an individual level, and this is what is needed. Because the future seems bleak, wildlife is being annihilated from every nook and corner of the world. Governments around the world have even failed to achieve much of the targets that they themselves set. The world seems to go in another direction. The wildlife is being annihilated, it is being lost at accelerated rate, and we cannot afford another years of failure. Targets are pointless until we take them seriously, until we make individual efforts for it. At last, I want to quote the words of Science Secretary General Ivan Curio, who said, "Biodiversity loss is an existential threat to people and planet. The continuous loss of wildlife species threatens to undermine entire ecosystem and puts into peril the well-being of all the individuals, all the people who rely on them. Yet, this is not inevitable. We have the power to change the course and restore threatened species and restore our ecosystems. And we must begin it now because it is now or never." Thank you so much.